guys, it's Soph. Today I'm gonna teach you how I did the vivid publicity material and our individual profile pictures. Thank you so much for waiting and being patient with me on this tutorial because I've never done something like this, and also I was dying with school, but now I'm on my sem break so I can show you guys how I did things. So the first thing we're gonna do, of course, is open Photoshop. So I already have the final output that I did here. So the first thing you're gonna do is make a new document. And I don't know why I chose the size that I did, but I'm sure I had a reason. So let's just trust past. So the file size I chose was 1280 by 960 pixels. And make sure that you have your resolution on 300 pixels per inch so that it renders nicely for social media. So let's name this Vivid. Great. So there, so we have our blank file. And the first thing we want to do is isolate or crop out basically. Like all this, the drums, the guitar, and the jacket. I got all of those from stills of our music video. So you're gonna gather your photos. And so I have all the clips I used. So we're just gonna drag all of those into the document. Like so. And then what you want to do is get like the parts that you want to put in the pub. And for this specific project, I did use quick selection. So that's this little brush with a marquee thingy here. But if you want to be more precise, you can use the pen tool. But since my vibe for this pub was more like 90s magazine, I clipped stuff out of my magazine and put them all together, like that kind of collage vibe. I didn't want to be too precise with the clipping of things. All I did was get his arm, a guitar, and his other arm. So I just quickly selected all of those. And then if you find that your quick selection went a bit overboard, so like this part, I don't want to select that, you can click Alt. And if you see here, in the middle of your circle thingy, this one, it's a plus. But if you click Alt, it's a minus sign. So that means it will like deselect anything that you don't want. So now more or less that's what I want. And all I did was click Command J. It duplicates the part that you selected. And then once you do all of that for all of your layers, you get something like this. So I just cut out all the individual pieces and I grouped them into this folder. I just called it BG for background, but maybe we can rename this band elements. Okay, there. And this group 1 folder, by the way, is just the backdrop I used here. I just hella zoomed in on a photo that we had of the cereals that we used in our shoot. So I just zoomed that in so I could get this like subtle shadowy paper effect without having to download anything else from the internet. Now you have your band elements, and then the next thing you want to do is adjust each element as you see fit. So this is where you can have some fun and add curves, adjustment layers, and things like that. So I'll just show you an example. So for my jacket, what I want to do is just make things a bit brighter and bring out contrast a bit so it looks more defined. The shadows and highlights pop out a bit more. Go to the Adjustments tab, click Curves, and then I only want this curves layer to apply to the jacket layer, right? So what I do is click Alt and then move your cursor to the middle line between the two layers and click. So now, once you see this, that means you've created a clipping mask on layer 4. So now, anything you do on curves will only apply to layer 4. So here, I just play around. So maybe something like this. And then typically I'll play with the opacity to see how much I really want. So I'd say there is about. And then you can do that to all the layers as you see fit. If there are photos that you feel are too dull or too bright, you You can tone them down or tone them up. And you end up with something like this. Then I end up with all your layers edited. So all I did for the Vivid Pub was edit the drums a bit, my jacket, and Mike's guitar. I kind of brightened and up the contrast a bit. And now the next thing you do is arrange. You're gonna arrange the different elements. So for Lada, I just here. For my jacket, I moved it down here. I resized it, moved things. For Renzo, I really upped the size of his layer, and from here, so you can see his dancing fingers. The drums I put in the corner, right here, and for Mike's guitar, I put it up here. Now, the next thing that we need to do is brighten things up, the colors. So as you'll notice, these shots are very dull because I did get them from raw camera stills, videos. So now, you want to up the saturation a bit, you want to up the brightness and the contrast. Oh, and by the way, before we get to that, I did add a color overlay. So I put a white color overlay, put the blend mode to soft light, and set the opacity to 31%. And what that does is it just gives the photos a bit more of a jaded, papery look. Going back to fixing the colors, the next thing I did was add a hue or saturation adjustment layer. So again, you can play around with this. So things like that, you can mess with it. The three things I like to use the most are hue and saturation, color balance, and the curves. And okay, 4, brightness and contrast. But after you mess with the adjustment layers and play with the colors, you end up with something like this. All I used was the hue and saturation tab, adjustment layer rather, and I did use a color balance tab. And I'll put the settings here. So now that you've colored all of your elements, now we can add text, which is my favorite part. First, the Vivid MV title. So I just click on text box. You can press T, or you can go here to the big T on your options tab. And the font I used was Hiragino Kako Gothic with the weight number 8. So I just type in Vivid. Played with the spacing a bit. This was really fun. I do love playing with text on things. So I just made this bigger. So yeah, just play around until you think this looks good, and you should end up with something like this. So here I upped the size a bit, fixed the alignments and the spacings. I aligned this M with the I, and I just put them in a group. So let's make this title text. Now, we make the box in the middle. So all I did was click U here, so that should bring you to the shape tool. Click the rectangle and make a rectangle because I the size that I want. So maybe around that. And then the fill color here on properties. I'll make the fill color like an off-white. So maybe a yellowish. Something like this. Something like that. And then for the stroke, I'll make it 1%. Oh, sorry, 1 point rather, 1 pixel point. And then I just make it black. So there, you should end up with something like that. You can change the size however you want. Then I put text inside. The font I used was Gopher. For the big blue like subhead, oh, it's getting dark. Okay, I used black metallic. And then I clicked here, just made like a bright cobalt blue, one of my favorite colors. And then I put after that, I switched the thickness to gold, and then I click the hot pink color. Number 19. And live stream. Zoom party. Something like this. So, and then I just played with the sizes, the thickness of the box, the size of everything, colors, etc. And then I ended up with something like this. So I've grouped all of this together. Then we can name it box text or details. Details text. Oh. Okay, yeah, there. And then the last thing that I added was a big "You're invited" here at the bottom. So just click the text again. Type "You're invited." And the font I used this time was Mazio's Review. Mazio's Review Extra Italic. Then I made it black so that it doesn't fight too much with the brightness of the other colors. But I wanted you guys to know that you're all invited. Sorry for the change in light. Is it focusing? Okay, the sun gave up on me. So here I am. Is it focusing? Hold on. Okay, there. I hope it's been focused the whole time. Yeah. So now you've added the "You're invited," and then you should end up with something like this. Oh, something I forgot to do to show you was that for the title text, you see how on the final product, the text kind of changes colors depending on what's behind it. So you can see here that the shape of Francis' finger changed to M, the jacket cuts over here, things like that. So the way I did that was I could title text the folder, and then I set it to soft light. Sorry, vivid light. Very appropriate. The next thing you're gonna do is turn everything into a smart object so that we can now add the effects and the filters. So to do that, click all of the layers. Maybe I can delete this one. So click all of the layers, and then right click and click Convert to Smart Object. And what this does, it compresses all of the layers that you had earlier into one kind of like fat layer. So now if you want to edit that again, all you have to do is click this little icon over here. Okay, so now that you've converted it to a smart object, you're ready to add filters. So go up here to the top tab, click Filter, and the first filter we are going to add is, let me check. Under Pixelate, you see Color Halftone. And I like to set the max radius here to 4. So click OK. So it turns everything a little wonky. You see? I love this effect. Now that you've added that, click on this level icon here. Click that. And then I like to set the opacity really low so that it's not all wacky and unreadable like this. So I like to set it to like, let's see if that's okay, 12, maybe lower. 7, maybe 12, 17. Okay, 17 is a good number. Stand 17. Next filter you're going to add is noise. So to filter, under noise, add noise. So this just adds a bit of grain. So I like to do it at a low number like this, like 3.39, maybe 0.4. And make sure it's set to Gaussian and monochromatic. So okay. And then the last, my favorite of the filters, is the sharpen filter. So go back to filter, under sharpen, click Smart Sharpen. And then just mess around with it. I honestly didn't have a plan, so I guess the settings I have now, maybe I want it a bit sharper, 27. And yeah, you can just take note of these settings if you'd like to use them. And then click OK. So there. And you see like the sharpen effect makes such a difference, and it really adds that like magazine touch to everything. It adds like a really cool, crisp effect. So there, you're basically done. The last thing you're going to add is an overlay, like a magazine overlay. And you can just Google, honestly, like Google images, just Google magazine gloss overlay or something like that. Like glossy magazine fold texture, whatever, something like that. Yes, but this is the one I have, so I just copied it from my original document. So it looks like this. So this is what you want to find on Google Images. Something like a garbage bag looking type of thing. And you want to find a black one. So now what we'll do is change the blending mode of the layer over here on this upper tab from normal to screen. So now all you see are the folds and it looks really like realistic. And there, this is basically the Vivid Pub. So now I'm just gonna show you quickly how I did our profile pictures. So first thing you're gonna do is get the photo you want to use. So I have them here, Vivid DP Raw, and I think I'll just use Lattice. So I'm just gonna drag it to the Photoshop icon so it makes a document of the photo. And then, similarly to what we did earlier, I'm just gonna go to Quick Selection and make a copy of Lada without the background. So there, now we have this transparent copy of Lada. Now what you're gonna do is get the text that we used in the Vivid Pub. So you're gonna open this. You're gonna open your Smart Object and get the title text. So just Command-C, copy, and then go to your photo and paste. So this is, I just up the size, something like that. And then what you're gonna do is put it under the transparent layer so that you can see Lada on top of the text. And then you can mess with the spacing as you please. Now you have something like that. And then I changed the colors a bit to suit the background a bit more. So I think I did a tealish color for that. And then I think I put a vivid light as well on the different layers. There we go. So you can see the creases in this jacket through the text. Yeah. So there. That's what I did. And then I did put this little thing so that when we use it as a profile picture, you could still see that it's a Vivid music video, even if you just crop this part like a square in the thumbnail. So there, that's all I did. And then again, same process, make it a Smart Object, and then add all the different filters. Pixelate, color halftone, the same thing. Lessen the opacity to make it 12. Then add noise again. So same settings. And then I sharpen it again. Smart Sharpen. Same settings. So there. That's what our DPs look like. And yeah, that's how I did everything. I hope this was helpful. I hope, so if you're editing this, you better not make it too long because people are gonna lose their minds. Yes, that was how I did our Vivid Pubs. Thank you for waiting for this tutorial and for watching this tutorial. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed our Vivid music video. I hope you keep streaming and keep watching it for good vibes. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys make your own Vivid DPs. Yeah, that would be really fun if you guys could maybe like make your own DPs with this effect or with this tutorial. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys for supporting the music video, for supporting the song, and for supporting us as a band. We're really excited for what 2021 has in store. So subscribe down below, like this video, comment. Wow, vlogger. But yeah, like this, comment, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!